Baby doll, look at you. Welcome. You are a fresh cut piece of watermelon. I appreciate you. We're going to start off by pumping the music. You see, something's been going on, friends. For the past 5 months, I received enormous amounts of abuse and accusations from those with crumpled slippers, hunchbacks, and rounded elbows. This is the eHEX to pHEX ratio. HEX exists on Ethereum and it exists on PulseChain, okay? eHEX, pHEX, that's it. It's a little passport. This is the ratio. Many people made the mistake of fondling their soap in the shower. Now you are learning the lessons. That's why you like, subscribe, belly button, and all. I've made specific videos to warn you. If you keep fondling your soap in the shower, you will have no soap left by the end of the crypto cycle. You will chippity and choppity and slice your portfolio up. Now, if you did this mistake, it's not the end of the world. Don't repeat it again. I'm only going to tell you this once. Well, I'm going to tell it to you again the next time, but if you make the same mistake, you're going to be crushed. Don't make this mistake. You are still lucky. If you got hurt, that's okay. My door is always open for you. I'm just here to tell you, 1, you're my friend. 2, please keep your elbows pointy. And 3, you can make up for lost ground. You are lucky because the US dollar prices of real DeFi are still shockingly low. This is the eHEX to pHEX ratio, but it's a ratio between them. It's not their absolute prices. We're looking at it live right now. This is both pHEX, which is the candles, and eHEX, which is the orange line. They move roughly in line. I'm now going to show you as well PulseX. PulseX is also real DeFi. I think PulseX, unloved. The PulseX and Pulse ratio, I still think, to be honest, I think this is kind of fair value. I think it's actually pretty good for a ratio here. 0.27. That means PulseX is 27% of the price of Pulse. What about, so that's the ratio. We'll go back to the US dollar. What about Pulse itself? Pulse is on PulseChain, right? PLS, real DeFi. To return back through the corrupt SEC move, we'd need about almost another 2x. Now, I want to remind you, okay, firstly, real DeFi better than fake DeFi. If you are DCAing with more ammo, congratulations. You are very lucky. Why? We've been burning in hell here for 2 years, watching everything go down. Prices are still mega cheap. I don't know how long they'll be cheap, but they're cheap right now. Do you see this little this green candle? This is the eHEX rally. We are just getting excited over the ratio because people thought HEX from Ethereum was dead versus HEX from PulseChain. Now the ratio I just showed you is a recovery. Here's my eyes looking at you. Looking at you, friends. Just please have a look. Please, I want you to just appreciate something. Look at this. Look at the green candles here. You see these big, fat, juicy green candles to the moon? This erased all of the pain. All of the pain. I can only tell you, if you stay long enough, you get to erase the pain. However, I don't know how long it's going to be. I know you like it long. That's what she said. But we don't know exactly the amount of months, the amount of years. That's why I tell you December 2025. You keep a grounded time frame. We appreciate if things come early and they shock us to the upside. We love that. But we still stay grounded. If you think it's going to come tomorrow or even in 1 year, you're not going to make it. Because in crypto, it destroys a lot of people. You don't get guarantees. Even 12 months isn't enough. I'm sorry. You need more time. That's why I keep saying, hey, screw 2023. Even screw 2024. We're going to trade 2025, baby. Don't worry about my Rocca Negra thesis and all of these about how we might get scammed. That might not even happen. We don't know. I'm just telling you, you keep that mindset. That's how you make it. People were angry about the ratio of eHEX and pHEX at the very, very lows. I know many people sold. But I want to remind you, friends, okay, look. I'm going to bring up the website here. This is the PulseX yield farm. You see this? There are a lot of ways. Look, there's a lot of ways to make money, but there's exponentially more ways to lose money because there's combinations of all these. I am still sitting in yield farms. You can sit in there too. You don't have to use all your money. I'm only in PulseX. You can go participate in pHEX. There's other ones out there for higher yield. You can if you want to. I personally don't want to. Why? just be honest. Look, I love all the builders and the creators. Honestly, I don't care what they say about me. I'm completely indifferent, friends. You know me. I'm a brick wall. You can't get through to me, okay? Cement. But I appreciate they're building communities. They're putting more products. They're fleshing out the ecosystem of PulseChain. Just to me, now your friends saw me. I'm just telling you, I know how short this bull market's going to be. I know how short it's going to be. If it goes really long, and I know you like it long, that's what she said again, we got 24 months from now. That, to me, is not enough time to compensate for the yield and the risk I would be taking in those exogenous yield farms. Because the yields only start to get good at the tail end, the final 3, 4, 5, 6 months when you should be getting out anyway. So that's why I don't participate in them. Now, you have every choice to. Feel free. I just personally don't. The capital appreciation from the price and the people going up. Remember, Metcalfe's law, people coming in the network, friends, that's actually what gets you the most. You got to get in as much as you can before all the people come in. That's how you make the most. It's not like, moving yield around and getting different inflation toggles. It's not that. It's just, can you buy in the depression when everybody's depressed and nobody's buying, and get in before they turn into disbelief and then optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Okay, you got to get in before them. Now, we're looking at the yield farms here. I don't know what split you have. Personally, this is just me, not financial advice. I'm just sticking to equal a ratio everywhere. You can't go wrong. Funny, you had a friend like me who loves and appreciates you, by the way. You see, I was telling everybody, even at the lows, firstly, I was overweight eHEX. I still am. And I was telling people, look, you can't go wrong getting all of them. Why? Because if you have Pulse, PulseX, eHEX, and pHEX, guess what? Your eHEX has gone up, You might think this is high now. And now you can get out into this and say, you know what? By the way, don't get out everything. Please, please, please don't make this mistake. You do not get out of everything at once. Let's say you just had equal units of everything, 25% each. And now your eHEX has actually grown up here. You might say, you know what? I want to now rotate a bit of the eHEX. Maybe like you take a quarter of it out, and you might put it into something else that you think is mega cheap and underloved, like PulseX. Or you say you're just going to split it equally. Maybe you take out a quarter of it and put a tiny bit into Pulse, PulseX, and pHEX, and you just smooth it out. But the main important point is that you got everything. You just sat here. You did not take some turbo leveraged view like, oh, I'm a genius. I'm going to be selling my eHEX to buy the pHEX down here, guys. These people, they don't make it. They're not around. Why? I know the biggest and the best traders who do this stuff. None of us go all in. You can't go all in. You know how thin markets are. People will sell unimaginably low lows. They will buy the tops of stuff just to get out. So you got to be careful. The best place to be is to stay HEX, okay? Even though I have this up. So you can use the Okosa website. Shout out to Sir Alexander. Okay, Okosa website. You can also go to HEX, PulseChain, go.hex.com, and you can go to the stake section at the very, very top. You can't see it just there. Just stake it, man. Like, you don't have, friends, you don't have to stake for 15 years. You know that, right? You can do 1 month at a time and then get the little decreasing yield. You know that, yeah. And then you learn about the T-shares. That's right. If you keep doing that, you miss out on the yield. So people have a laddering system. The best part is if you do this, you take a different mindset. You don't get forced into this trading. So you know what the funny part is? So I know some smart people were saying, well, with my trading, I was able to make 25%. Yeah, bro, you made 25%. Other people lost 40%. And they're going to look at their other friends and family who just stood staked. And in a year from now, they're going to be down. These people themselves, they're going to be down 40% and their friends are up 9%. Look at that difference. Minus 40 versus plus 9. You got to be careful. So these are the different yield farms. If I was to start fresh, I would still do the exact same thing I'm doing. I'll join the PulseX and Pulse yield farm. And I'll join the HEX Pulse, pHEX and Pulse. It's very low, by the way. This is 11%. You're getting this pretty much from 1 year staking, just your pHEX. And if you're a validator for Pulse, you'll get 15%. So that's basically taking no divergence risk, which is the impermanent loss. It all depends on the ink yield farm. But at the end of the day, it's not really anything to get upset about or anything. They're just a couple of yield basis points here and there. The important part is that you're here for the long term. That's honestly the most determining factor. This is only little cherries on top, but that's what I will do. I'll personally do that. If you want to take more risk, and I wouldn't do this, by the way, people are in ink farms, etc. They're in the other USDC farms. I don't want to play in those. I think this is a gift that you have coins here that you know are not going to freaking just be abandoned by some sort of team that does mid-curve DeFi. This is one of the issues with everything on Arbitrum and all the other coins. Now, they're great projects out there, I'm sure. The only issue is you don't know how much balls the founders have of those coins because they're all anonymous dudes and dudettes. They might just leave in 6 months and the coin's down. You're like, oh, crap. And you're wondering, well, what's the point? Well, the point is you've bought their coin and you've provided liquidity with USDC. And guess what? The coin's now gone crap and you've just missed out on the Ethereum pump. So that's why you got to be super careful with these. This is a gift to be able to do these. Your first priority should be HEX staking. It's literally receiving native yield. It's like Bitcoin mining. It's like the lowest of the risk curve. That's the first thing you should consider. Now, a lot of people wondering as well, why are we celebrating? Look, friends, we're going to crank it, okay? We are cranking it. Why are we celebrating? Because the prices, yeah, they got a long way to go, don't they? They got a long way to go. But there's something important to think about. Look at what we survived through. Minus 99% price drop. The corrupt and incompetent SEC attacks. Richard Hart, his temporary disappearance. He's doing like the soft disappearing, the gone with the wind. Am I here? Aren't I here? AI. We also got delisted from fake DeFi Uniswap. Look at these, man. This is literally meant to kill a community. It's meant to kill you. You dropped minus 99%. You got attacked by the corrupt SEC. Your founder disappeared. And you got delisted from Uniswap. This should literally means you're zero now. We ain't zero. I'm still here. You're still here. We know people still like it. I'm seeing everybody's engagement on Twitter. How are there people still engaging my posts? You're down 99%. Metcalfe's Law. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a guild. It's a community. Whatever you want to call it. There's nodes in the network. They're not dead. And we know this. This is our qualitative information that I've mentioned to you using Gerardo's website. I've shown you the fundamentals. The community is still standing. Look at this Peppy holding up the trophy. This is me enjoying the posts as it was happening. Breaking news, the eHEX pHEX ratio. It's great to see this. Your friend Somi has declared permanent friendship to everybody who stayed true to this and believed. HEX is real DeFi. It doesn't matter if it came from Ethereum or PulseChain. Ethereum is pretty much New York City. Yeah, kind of like California now, but it's kind of like New York City. There's a lot of people, all the money's there. You need to have business open there. You need to. For example, Amazon would really shoot themselves in the foot if their website didn't work for New York citizens, hey? Or half of America, and they only offered it to like Dirt Island, Australia down here. You see? You got to be open with all the businesses, and then you can funnel people through. Also, tongue in cheek, don't forget, forgive them, Father, for they do not know they have toilet paper hands. The eHEX pHEX ratio, this is the first sign of life. We are waiting for the US dollar prices. That's why I'm telling you, if you made a mistake, it is okay. You can come back. You can come back because the USD prices are really low, like shockingly low. Like this is PulseX, for example. PulseX, I think it's way too cheap. I mean, friends, I was like, nah, I think we're going to get screwed in this. But no, it shouldn't be down here. No way. Considering the volume. And I'm not even going to just tell you any of these examples. I'm actually going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you the examples. So PulseChain did $22 million of volume today in the past 24 hours. Solana did 35 million. Now, Solana has had like a burst up, but still, PulseChain, 22 million up here. Avalanche, Snowstream, they did 20 million. Like, PulseChain is competing with these dudes, man. It's competing with them. It shouldn't be down here. Now, if PulseChain is undervalued by like a 4x, then PulseX, based off that ratio, is also undervalued by a 4x. But that's a long way. That's still a long way to go, because if you just add a plus 300%, which is a 4x here, we're still 40% below day one sack. So this is based off Bitcoin and Ethereum prices today, and we assume they're going to go higher. So it's just the higher repricing that happens when those happen. So This is just ridiculous down here. I'm just telling you the volume and everything in the community. You put all these together. This is real DeFi, man. There's none of this Uniswap X, fake DeFi. We're putting all this stuff off chain. There's none of that here. I think there is going to be a big appreciation of people who come in for this. You know, and it's not about being pragmatic, because we don't care if it's something's real DeFi or fake DeFi if the prices of the fake DeFi are like much cheaper, much better experience. We don't care. But in crypto, these middlemen, which is KYC, know your customer, which is also what Uniswap's doing, these middlemen, they add costs on, which means they lower the value of your token. They add costs. They add middlemen, they add red tape. There's got to be fees and licenses and checks. They slow things down. And then what happens is, if a coin gets routed and listed on those off-chain data things and those places, those servers, well, you have had to pass a series of tests. That means more costs. You've had to have a legal person on your crypto community team. You've had to hire maybe somebody who does consulting with the government. You know, you have to hire all these people. That's money taken out of the coin's treasury to pay these people to waste everybody's time. They act as a chain on it, as everyone's neck. And because you're paying them, guess what? The coins get dumped. So by the time they make it to the off-chain stuff over world, you don't even get to witness an enormous pump anymore, because it's already been factored in. You get diminishing gains. That's why real DeFi doesn't have that. So what I described to you was fake DeFi. They introduced all the middlemen and the clogging, the bottleneck, all these other things that slow you down. When you have no middlemen, which is what PulseX is, you have no middlemen here, then it's clean and it's pure. There's no one to pay in the middle. It's just a pure price. Some might say Wild Wild West. Others might say freedom and liberty. That's why PulseX is freedom of speech. PulseX is real DeFi. And it's on PulseChain, which is also real DeFi. This is the PulseChain price as well. So I just want to end by just sharing with you. Okay, so Bitcoin towards 30,000 is pretty good. Let's look at the altcoins, all right? Altcoins are cheap, friends. Just please look at this, okay? This little candle, this is the total altcoin market. This little green monthly candle, this is all that we've done for the whole industry. And we already saw eHEX do a 200+% rally right here, okay? We go down here. We can actually change this like a 4-hour. You see that? Isn't that enormous? Look at this. Looks bang. So it did a 280% rally, whatever it is. That's all off this small little candle. So even though I have conservative targets up the top, that's conservative looking at it now. We can get points in time where we get shocked to the upside and it changes the forecast for the future. Now, what I'm going to tell you is very sensitive. I know you like a sensitive, friends. Please be careful. But I'm just going to tell you this. I don't want to get your hopes up too much. But, you know, my friend asked me, what would let us see and envision that Total HEX can break $1, can actually get to $1? What would let us see that, right? And I have one answer. Now, I hope there's other scenarios out here, but I'm just going to give you an example. So imagine this is Total eHEX, right? Total HEX, okay? So I would want to see the 60% retrace reclaimed before Bitcoin is about 60K. So it's around here. So the 61%, 50%, about 26 to 30 cents. So let's just use it as 30 cents, basically. 28 to 30 cents, around here. But what I'm alluding to is I want us to get here before Bitcoin's broken near the top, all right? So I don't know what's going to happen. So can we get to 28, 30 cents, come back down? That's what I want to see. we need to get up here. If we can get up here, I think that's enough jizz jazz zone, and then we can actually flush up in the bull market. So just to reiterate, that box zone, 28 to 30 cents, that's for Total HEX. I want to remind you, this is Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is, now I know this is like a very hard chart to see, but if Bitcoin is like $70,000 while we're at 28 cents for HEX, then it's literally 50-50. It's 50-50 at that point, because if Bitcoin tops out, How do you want to bet on like the final pump again happening? It's very scary to think of that, isn't it? Because if you're wrong about that final pump, because you're expecting another move like this, like here, right? We're expecting another final move up. If you don't get that final move up, if you go up and then you're wrong, well, your next stop is literally back down here. That's the scary part. But if it goes up, well, guess what? You're going off to the moon. That's something that we're never going to know. The total hex price is now 2.1 cents, 2.1, 2.2. So, to get to this 28, 30 cent zone, it's about a 15x, 14, 13x from here. Can we do that? I think we can do that. I mean, I hope we do that. But that's what we're waiting for, So, our friends, one of my friends messaged me like they're feeling, very bearish about how Rockenegger and everything's going to turn out. Look, friends, I want to give you better news than as well. I'm just giving you the truth, okay? Because would you want to find out the hard way? I can just lie to you like all the other influencers do and ignore the information and just tell you, oh, golly gee, we're going up. So this is what we want to see. So if we want to be shown that higher highs are coming, higher than what we think, the targets, well, there's got to be some evidence first. Unless, there's only one precedent. One. And you're not going to like it. And I know, friends, I'm going to have to whisper to you right now because I don't want him to hear, but this is actually the Litecoin chart. I know it's wild. Yes, friends, I'm not making this up. There is actually a precedent in crypto for your coin just dying and then breaking the high like you've never seen before in your life. Litecoin did this in its previous cycle. You see this? Look, it just stayed dead. 2016. Bitcoin was breaking the high here. Bitcoin had already broken $1,000. This was the high. And Litecoin just stayed here doing nothing. And now in March 2017, Bitcoin was like, 3K. And then Litecoin went kaboosh to the sky. Litecoin actually did this twice. So this is actually a giant move. Litecoin 88x. So yeah, it's happened. It's happened in crypto. Litecoin's done it. We don't do these patterns anymore though, just for reference. Why? Everybody's too aware of the coins. There's more eyeballs, there's more computer systems, everyone's aware. So it's very unlikely a respectable coin will literally die, even as Bitcoin's broken new highs and then finally flush up. The market is getting better and more antsy-pantsy about front-running big moves. As you can see, people are buying altcoins earlier and earlier. We're going into new altcoins narratives. We're not waiting for Bitcoin to stop. So put in another way, people are going to, for example, probably be buying eHEX, pHEX, Pulse, and PulseX before Bitcoin breaks $70,000. Like no one's really going to be waiting for that moment to get bullish because we understand it. Now you've learned something today. You've learned that one, you're my friend, and two, there's many parts of the PulseChain ecosystem to participate. Please, okay, if you made a mistake, I'm just telling you, there is a way to make it back. Your DCA, the US dollar prices are still cheap. I guess we'll see how the next 3 months go. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, or I'll catch you in the next one.